We want to talk for a minute about community college funding and the importance of the role of trustees in that process.
Well, I'll simplify it. Community college funding is historically, or at least by statute, the way it's supposed to be, is a third, a third, a third. 1/3 of the funding comes from the state, a third from the county or the local district, and a third from student tuition. We know that it was never a third, a third, a third, but those are the three sources. When it comes to student tuition, tuition in terms of our budget is impacted in two ways: by rate, how much is your tuition, and by volume, which is your enrollment. So rate and volume. Right now at Union County College, it's about 15% from the state, about 15% from the county, about 65% from the student tuition, and then the 5% from other sources. And the importance of those other sources is growing. The importance is growing. Things like grant writing of grants, or philanthropy, the foundations that you're creating on your campuses are critical. And that's just the operating side. In terms of, I'll stay on operating and just say, we start constructing our budgets in the springtime. We do a lot of work over the summer to analyze what we've done in previous years. We get budget documents out to our local departments. We have them examine data. It's very data-driven, justifying expenditures. We bring our final budget to the board in either January or February. This year we were a month later. We did it in February. And after that budget is approved, it's not over. We have to take it to that local organization called the Board of School Estimate. The Board of School Estimate is a county, and it's in legislation. It's a group made up of two members of the college's board, designated by your trustee chairman, and 3 freeholders. So once we get our boards to agree on it, we try to do a whole lot behind the scenes with our freeholders ahead of time, but then we go to a Board of School Estimate meeting in your county seat and get the Board of School Estimate to approve that budget. And typically that's pretty much like a lock, a guarantee that the county is going to provide for you the amount of money that you've allocated in that budget. But it's still not over really from a county perspective, because the county has still got to ratify their own budget. So we don't, breathe a sigh of relief and really celebrate until the county ratifies its budget.
And we still don't know what state funding is at that point either.
That's right. In terms of state funding, Dr. Nespoli and his staff, including Linda Lamb to a great degree, and others, joined the presidents in doing massive lobbying with our state government, with the executive branch and the governor's office and the people in the budget office, but also with our legislators. We hope for flat funding, and there are a lot of people who criticize Governor Christie. I'm not going to get in that bandwagon, because I have a lot of friends in Pennsylvania. I spent 30 years in Pennsylvania, where governors over there have gutted higher education budgets, gutted them. And in New Jersey, while we're not getting as much as we'd like to get, we're getting a whole lot more than a lot of other states are getting from their state government, their state legislature. So we've actually, I say it, some of my colleagues disagree with me, but I'm pretty happy that we've been relatively flat funding from the state, which is good for us.
On that note, I think it's also important for trustees to, to your point, we're really no longer taxpayer funded, because that's the perception out there. A lot of the public think community college is taxpayer funded. So we start using, obviously, taxpayer subsidized. So that helps you philanthropy-wise if you go and work with corporation and so on and so forth. So it's very important for you to actually start using those terms that are no longer taxpayer funded, we're taxpayer subsidized.
And we say for our programs funded in part by Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders and things like that. But frankly, people don't want to donate to an organization. If you're fully funded by the taxpayers, I already made my donation when I paid my taxes. They've got to understand that there certainly is across the country, and certainly in New Jersey, an increasing philosophy of a user tax mentality. Let the kids have some skin in the game. And it's reality, but then we also want to be able to go to our community organizations, our philanthropists, and our business leaders and corporations and say, please help chip in. And that's certainly at Union County College, and I know at our other colleges. I know President Murphy has some tremendous initiatives going on right now. I'm envious of them, because she's gotten them supported through donations, private donations. and they're critical for us. So that's a great point,
Yeah,
Samir.
we used to have vendors that would actually say to me, why should I support a foundation when you guys are taxpayer funded? And now that they understand what it is, they're some of our biggest funders. When you tell them the percentages, they can't believe it. So it's a myth.
And I do think that that is something that trustees need to understand is really the impact of the reduced, or in the case of the state, flat funding. It really is, I cringe when I hear that students should have some skin in the game. Our students are shouldering the bulk of the operating budgets for all of our colleges. If that's not skin in the game, I don't know what is.
No, it's skin, it's muscle, it's bone, it is.
It is, it is.
It is, but you can't win this, and this is a caution. What do we need from trustees? We need you to advocate for us for funding, but in your advocacy, we need you to thank our county government for the funding they offer to us, and thank our state government for the funding that they provide for us.
Yeah.
We will not be successful in improving the funding for our colleges by publicly criticizing our elected officials. And I know there are trustees and there are presidents who have made that mistake. And the last thing we want to do is go anywhere. I never say it bad. Every time I talk about how Mrs. Zimmerman, correct? Our freeholders, it doesn't matter if you're red or you're blue, they're terrific. They love our kids, they support our kids. And how many people in New Jersey are saying nice things about Governor Christie today? I may be the only one, but I say it every single time.
You and Samir.
Well, it does matter. He has not slashed higher ed funding when a lot of his colleague governors have done so. We cannot get better funding by publicly criticizing these elected officials, and trustees who maybe think they're doing us a favor, if they go public saying negative things about the politicians, will end up damaging our cause.